Thank you again for joining me for a little step 3 we're into now. Let's quickly review those first 2 steps. I mean, you can always watch those first 2 videos again, but we'll just quickly jump to what we're up to. So firstly, we obviously got the old 1, 2, 3s, which is purely designed just to get you comfortable with the idea of the handle being ahead of the club head at impact. That's all we're trying to do, create an angle, maintain the angle. The next step we went to the old choke down, which is purely try and get a feeling of what a little bit of hinge feels like in the wrists, and then becoming aware of, this thing over here, the handle of the club moving towards the target, and then the pivot, and then now finally we're at stage 3, which is a lot more useful for actually hitting half shots, fuller shots, and we start to get a delve into a little bit more of a thing. It kind of looks like a swing, I suppose, but will help with the previous 2 steps as well. They all match in together. So pretty much now, instead of just stopping here, we'll have this as our imaginary target line. Very good. Instead of just stopping and chilling out here, where the shaft kind of starts to get parallel with the target, there or thereabouts, or all outside somewhere here, and stopping here and just getting the handle to go towards the target, we can allow the club to go even further back. So the wrist's kind of flat to maybe a little bowed somewhere over there. And then from here, we're going to make sure that the first movement is not going to be rotation with the body. We don't want to have rotation first, and we definitely don't want to have club head moving first. We definitely don't want to do rotation and club head, because we know what that looks like, right? That's some classic over-the-top stuff. There's a good little kick on the stick there. So we're trying to get here, and the first movement I want to have happen from here is very similar to what we were doing from here with the handle first. I want you to get used to creating an angle and then getting the handle to move down kind of at the ball, so that we get it to this point here with the shafts pointed kind of towards the target, or maybe a little out to the right. I'm okay with that, especially in the learning phase. So we up. First movement is handle coming down. Do not worry too much about shift. You'll notice that as soon as you pull the club down, you'll naturally feel like your body wanting to get out of the way. You don't need to encourage rotation. As I said, rotation can feel like it happens last. And the more you load into it, the more it will rotate quickly out of the way. But rotation happens last, not first, all right? So we're up here. Handle comes down. Handle comes down to where we're just at here. Handle comes down, and then we can swing through and catch the grass. So the little draw we finished off with, to develop this feeling, because it's going to take time and repetition to learn this feel. Rome wasn't built in a day, neither was a reasonable ball striking ability. So we go up halfway, lead arms kind of parallel with the ground. Don't worry about it being rigid, straight or anything, it's just relaxed. Shaft can be pointed somewhere near the ball, somewhere here I'm okay with. We're not going to be too picky about specifics at this point in time. So we're here, first movement is going to be handle comes down to the point where it's pointed at the target, okay? So we can go up, handle down, up. You can do this as many times as you want, just making sure that the handle is coming down ahead of the club head, or the handle's doing more work than the club head, not the club head doing more work. We don't want to have this stuff. It's not nice. We want to have this feeling here, all right? So we're up, handle down. You can get used to this, what it looks like to the handle leading the club head. And then by all means, you can come down and try and catch the ball. That was a nice chunky one, Andy. Well done. So we're up, handle leads, handle. Just get used to this feeling, right? What does it even feel like to have my handle leading the club head? It's going to get very weird at first, just get used to that feeling. And then once you start to get used to it, it's going to end up being easier and easier and easier. And then once you've done enough reps to develop that feeling internally, how does it feel to allow my handle, the grip, to lead the club head just for a little bit? Once you get up here and you know what that feels like, then you can do it all in one movement where you can allow it all to sink in together. But that's definitely where you want to start. Halfway back, where am I at? Handle leads the club head comes last. Handle, club head. Handle, club head. And then you'll be able to hit it doing the same thing. Handle, club head. All right. It's just a good simple movement for a start. It's no worrying about rotation or anything just yet. Up, handle, club head. All right, up, handle, club head. Once you got used to this handle, club head, then we can go to the feeling of worrying about how much the body moves at the same time to deliver it more consistently in the right place. But one thing at a time is much better for learning than getting way too overcomplicated with too many things. We've already got probably too complicated, but we can just keep it as simple as possible. But this is hugely important for any golf shot, especially when the ball's on the ground. Teed up the driver, we can get away with murder, but anytime it's on the ground, we really want to get that feeling of up. This moves before that moves. And then it reaches its point, then this will naturally can come down to deliver strike on the ball. But here, we don't want this to go first, because then we've got nowhere to go. We're going to end up having issues like chicken wing, cut across it, scoop, top, all that horrible stuff. Whereas we here, first movement is that, comes down, then that delivers the ball, boom, in the business. All right, so that's step 3. Let's get to work, and hopefully we'll catch you next week.